folks. Live from Newport.
We are live.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It is Wednesday, June 8th, 2022, and this is the regular meeting of the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners being presented both in person and via our YouTube channel. And first up, call to order. All three commissioners are present, and that does constitute a quorum. Then we have adoption of the consent calendar. These are items that either are routine in nature or we have discussed at previous meetings. Are there any items on the calendar that staff or commissioners wish to highlight or remove?
I'll move for adoption of the consent calendar as presented.
I will second the motion.
All in favor of adoption of today's consent calendar, please say aye.
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 Aye. It is approved unanimously. We move on now to our one decision action item, second reading of the proposed fireworks ordinance, number 527, County Council, Kristen Yule.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kristen Yule, County Council. You have before you Ordinance 527 relating to fireworks in unincorporated Lincoln County and declaring an emergency. Is there any request to read the ordinance in full?
Title only.
Okay with title only.
I would ask to be read in full. I feel this is a
Okay.
ordinance that will be easily misunderstood by the public. And I think every opportunity for them to understand the details of the ordinance and what it does and doesn't do is critical. So I ask that it be read in full.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
I am too.
Relating to fireworks in unincorporated Lincoln County and declaring an emergency. The Lincoln County Board of Commissioners ordains as follows. Section 1. Section 2 of this ordinance are added to and made part of LCC Chapter 2 as indicated. Section 2, fireworks. 2.6000 purpose, sub 1, LCC 2.6000 through 2.6010 shall be known as the Lincoln County Fireworks Ordinance and is adopted pursuant to the authority provided the county in ORS Chapter 480 and ORS 203.035. Sub 2, the purpose of the Lincoln County Fireworks Ordinance is to establish a procedure for prohibiting the sale and or use of consumer fireworks to ensure the safety of the public from the danger of fire hazards. 2.6005 definitions. Sub 1, the words and phrases in LCC 2.6000 to 2.6010 shall have the meaning provided in ORS Chapter 480. 2.6010 fireworks prohibition. Sub 1, by resolution of the Board of Commissioners, the use of consumer fireworks as defined at ORS 480.111, definitions for ORS 480.111 to 480.165, which shall include using, discharging, or exploding consumer fireworks may be prohibited within the unincorporated limits of Lincoln County for a specified duration based on certain weather or weather-related conditions. Sub 2, by resolution of the Board of Commissioners, the sale of consumer fireworks as authorized by ORS 480-160 may be prohibited within the unincorporated limits of Lincoln County for a specified duration based on certain weather or weather-related conditions. Sub 3, subsection 1 or 2 does not apply to a fireworks display that is issued a public display permit under ORS 4180, 130, or 480, 150. 2.6015 penalties. Sub 1, violation of any provision of LCC 2.6000 to 2.6010 is punishable pursuant to LCC Chapter 10. Section 3, this ordinance be necessary for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, and safety. An emergency is declared to exist, and this ordinance shall take effect upon its passage.
Thank you. Questions or comments from my fellow commissioners?
No, I just asked that it be read because as the ordinance states, this establishes a procedure whereby this board may be able or may take action which may affect the sale and use of fireworks above and beyond what is currently prohibited by the state, should we take action. But all it does is establish the procedure whereby we may be able to take action.
That's correct. Any questions?
I don't have any questions. I was just going to say they did have breakfast with several of the mayors this morning, and many of them have either implemented or in process of looking at implementing similar kinds of tools. Of course, Walport and I believe Yahas last year did ban the use and sales of fireworks late in the game, but other jurisdictions are looking at kind of tools similar to ours, where you have the ability to use that tool if you need to, not an outright ban altogether, but another tool in the toolbox. So it isn't just us looking at this. It is something I think with more drought conditions, maybe not necessarily for this year, but in general, we're seeing more drought conditions. I think it's an important tool. And like I said, other jurisdictions are looking at it as well. So
good to know. It may seem a bit ironic that we're doing this in a year where we will probably not have a drought declaration in place by the 4th of July. But again, as has been stated, this will be a tool for the long term.
Yeah. No, again, I fully support the ordinance. I just think it's important that the nuances of what it does and doesn't do. And we've heard from the sheriff previously that enforcement will be, I won't say non-existent, but I will say highly minimal, if at all. I think the public needs to understand that.
Okay. I am in support of moving forward to provide this tool as well. So we need a formal, yes.
This is Jerry Herbage. Just if I could ask for a couple of things. One is, could you put the ordinance up just one more time? I wanted to see the top of that. And then secondly, I think it would be good, as it's a second reading, as a matter of formality, that you see if there is any public comment on the ordinance. Just a second. Declaring emergency. See, it seemed to me that if I'm looking at the ordinance, did something get chopped off? Because I think that we had that Lincoln County Board of Commissioners ordains as follows. Is that chopped off from this?
Yeah, it's Mr. Herbage. It's on the copy that I have before me, but it's not on the copy Mr. Miller has.
Oh, okay. That concerned me. So the board should know that I think that what you're acting on somewhere, apparently this copy doesn't have it, is that the board ordains as follows, because that needs to be in any chapter 203 ordinance.
Thank you. So at this point, it sounds like we have consensus for,
Just ask if Mr. Miller received any written comment, or if anybody here has any.
No, we have not.
What about public comment today?
Can stand by.
is anybody here in person or online to comment about this?
specifically around the firework ordinance. Yeah.
So if you could use the raise hand function, if anybody does want to comment virtually. Nothing virtual.
All right, what's our next step? Council?
Any in-person public
Pardon?
comment?
In person.
Oh, Sarah, are you here to comment on the proposed fireworks ordinance?
Okay.
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 So
Make a motion.
next,
Are you ready for a motion?
I am.
All right. I will make a motion. Actually, can I borrow your copy of that? That's helpful. Thanks. Okay. I make a motion that we pass ordinance 527 relating to fireworks in unincorporated Lincoln County and declaring an emergency.
I'll second it.
we have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 527. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Well, it passes unanimously. Now we move on to commissioner reports.
Sure, I'll
Okay.
go. One of the things I just wanted to kind of update the public on, and both of you as well, and I've brought this up in commissioner reports in the past, is offshore wind. As I think I brought up a couple months ago, BOEM has Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, which is responsible for energy resources in federal waters, which is 3 nautical miles out in the ocean. Several months ago, they did release offshore wind lease sites, basically saying here's areas in the ocean that we are going to ask developers to bid on to get these lease blocks to develop offshore wind. We do not have any of those lease blocks, at least in this round, in Lincoln County. But that does not mean there is not potential Lincoln County impacts. For one, ocean animals don't just stop at a county border. They swim right on through. And the same goes with the fishing industry. If you have an Oregon permit for certain species, you can, like a crabber here in Lincoln County has an Oregon permit. They may be laying crab pots down on the south coast or up on the north coast or wherever. So there's definitely potential impacts to this county. Even though the lease blocks are not here, there's also potential spillover effects. So if you have large areas of the ocean that are now off limits to fishing, where do those people go, right? They're going to come north to our county. So anyways, those lease blocks are out. There's a couple of things happening. There is a public comment period, and public comments due at the end of June. And I do believe we as a board should submit some public comments. I'm happy to make a draft of that. And also there's several fishing industry and environmental groups kind of making the rounds, asking local governments to put in, resolutions in relation to offshore wind, kind of spelling out concerns, both concerns with impacts to the coastal economy, impacts to marine resources, and also concerns in the process BOEM is using. And as a member of the BOEM Offshore Wind Task Force, I agree with those things. And I certainly agree that there's some process problems. This is not about being anti-renewable energy by any means, but just kind of stating that the process is leaving some major things out of that discussion. So I have put in an agenda request form for our agenda to have our own advisory committee, because we do have our very own advisory committee called the Fishermen Involved in Natural Energy, which Commissioner Thompson and myself, back when I was still working for Oregon Sea Grant, started 10 plus years ago. So they have been meeting, and they have sent us a letter, or sent me a letter rather. And so I do have an agenda request form for them to come and formally present that letter to us and the resolution that they would like us to pass, so that we can look at that. My understanding is the Port of Newport has passed one. City of Newport passed one earlier this week, and I believe the City of Toledo and Port of Toledo are looking at similar ones. There's also been other jurisdictions up and down the coast that have passed similar things, and the Coastal Caucus just sent a letter to BOEM as well. So hopefully we'll be able to work them into our agenda here soon.
Definitely, I'd support a resolution, a letter, or both.
Yeah.
Commissioner Hunt, any reports?
I would just report that the Nonprofit Social Allocation Committee had its first of 2 meetings last night. Administrator Johnson was also present. So that process whereby they will make recommendations to this board as to how to allocate, what is $175,000 this year?
200,000, I think.
200. Allocate the money that's been set aside for that purpose. I've stated many times publicly that when I talk to other commissioners about the nonprofit social allocation process that our county has, and really the idea behind it is to leverage our money with funds from other sources to help those agencies really provide critically needed services to our citizens. The first question I get asked is, how do you fund it? And we use general fund money, which is the gold, because we can spend it however we want. And usually the reaction I get from the commissioner from another county is, oh, wow, that's really, difficult. I don't know how you do that. So I think a shout out to the people that commit their time. And, I think we should recognize how our county has taken action. Really, it was an idea from Commissioner Lindley to really provide support in a creative way to citizens in the county. So that would be the first thing. And I've been married for 42 years, and I would like to wish my father-in-law happy birthday on his 97th birthday today.
Wow.
Wow.
Happy birthday.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I wanted to report that I won't be present for next week's Board of Commissioners meeting. Earlier, well, I don't know if just within the last few weeks, we had a presentation from Emergency Manager Jenny Damaris about the Cascadia Rising exercise, which takes place next week. And I'll be sitting in on those various tabletop exercises and other discussions, and we'll be happy to report back the following week. Now is the time we have set aside for public comment, up to 3 minutes on any topic. Sir, did you want to offer public comment at this time?
Yes, please.
Okay, have you signed in with Casey's?
I have, but I think I put the wrong date.
Oh,
Oh, that's okay.
No problem.
We can correct that.
we will,
return it.
yes.
As long as we got a name and an address.
Okay, please be seated.
Thank you.
Introduce yourself and we'll start your 3 minutes.
I'm Patrick Brown. I am one of the new Belmere Road District Commissioners, and I live in Bella Beach, and that's what we're talking about. I know Chair Hall is familiar, and I assume legal counsel is familiar with what we're going through. Since 2006, we have failed our life safety hazard inspections from the state fire marshals and the local fire marshal. The main reason why the three of us that are road commissioners volunteered was because of that life safety. It's really a bad place to try to negotiate during the summer months, which we are getting there soon. A fatality took place last year and the response was greatly affected by crowded roads. They had to walk in. Last month, we had another emergency. Critical response time was greatly reduced due to the fact that we have fire lane signs up and people are obeying them. We followed every direction given by the state and the local fire marshal and SDAO. The fire lane signs are installed. We've done some striping, and thank God our levy passed. Now we need the sheriff's officer to be able to issue citations whenever deemed necessary. We do not want to punish by fines or towing, but to educate only and cite obviously at the sheriff's office discretion. Two of the Belmere Single Track Road District commissioners are retired fire personnel, myself included. Total of 30 years, the last 25 with Penn Fire and Rescue as a fire captain paramedic. I early in my career saw the fire marshal cite for life safety hazards, for instance, in a restaurant, and it was immediately shut down. The life safety is not something taken lightly. It's, to me, legalistically in the fire service, it's definitely something that needs to be dealt with. We were surprised to learn our pursuit of life safety had been forwarded to the legal department. I'm hoping it's just a technicality. It's our hope that the commissioners will bless this endeavor, do it expediently, because summer is right upon us. Cars are multiplying already, and life safety is our number one goal for all who live and recreate in our Bella Beach community. And we hope it'll be yours.
Thank you. Just a couple of comments that county legal counsel is essentially serving as kind of the point person on this, communicating with me, the sheriff's office, public works, and we will have a response to you shortly.
Hopefully, yes, because we're in a panic stage now. The weekends are already really busy. We have one section of the road that is less than 14 feet across on the corner. We've had a total of 20 cars on it. I would again push cars out of the way to get to a call, but it's a lot better not to have to do that. So
Thank you, Mr.
very
Brown.
much for your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you for your comments.
Do we have anybody online who wants to offer public comment? Again, please use the raise your hand function if you do.
Yes, you can have it.
Are we seeing anybody? No. So next, we're going to recess into an executive session to discuss labor negotiations. And
It's not on the
It's not
agenda.
on my agenda. Do
Oh,
we
yeah.
have a
Was it,
notification
was it
issue?
noticed?
that's right,
It's
the,
on here.
the legal verbiage is not on the ones we have.
Yeah. it's on the
Okay.
list.
Why don't we double check real quick that it's on the online version? I think that would be.
We're looking at the online.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it on? Oh, I see
Casey,
it.
could I
Okay.
get one so I can cite the proper language?
Yeah, let me blow it up for you, okay? I
Uh,
have the
no.
printed copy.
I need the printed copy. I'm not going to be able to read off the screen.
Just, so I would just recess and then we're gonna recess.
I need
Okay,
the
I don't
printed
have a
copy,
printed
please.
copy
Oh,
in
you
front of
don't.
me, so
Okay.
okay.
Let me take a look here. We're going to recess into executive session under ORS 192.660 sub 2 sub D regarding labor negotiations. And we will not be coming back into public session after this. So we're recessed into executive session.
Casey, some people are gonna stay on here.
Oh,
Like
okay.
Christina will, I think David is online.
Hey, Anna, do you want me to?
Oh, okay. So some staff are.
Yeah, and I just have to grab a few things.
As you can imagine, there's more to that. Yeah, basically, you know, it's a place that's.
11:30 or noon, but I'll call you when I'm out.
2 hour discussion.
Locals
No, I mean,
versus
the
the
executive
vacation.
session.
And probably a lot of.
Okay.
So I'll, let's say 11:30 or 12.
Respecting.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, I will. Thanks.
So does everybody off?
It looks, have we accounted for everyone that's in the room? Fine. There we go.